Welcome everybody to the Motivate Podcast Show. I am your host, Rich Wall Street Williams, and here at the Motivate Podcast Show, friend, we always say less, but we definitely want to believe for more. I want to continue this conversation that we've been having in and around the topic of about having progress, making progress, whether that's in your personal life, business life, other arenas. How to have this how to experience progress in life. A lot of times when we think of progress, I know for myself, when I think of progress, remember back in school, we had what we refer to as progress reports. How many remember those progress reports, right? And so we had to at the end of the quarter, at the end of a marking period, etc. It's a progress report where we checked in to see how we were doing as a benchmark, as a measurer. One of the things I have discovered about progress report is the progress report doesn't always necessarily tell or show. It doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. Doesn't necessarily show the whole picture. Doesn't tell the whole story. Doesn't show the whole picture. And so what I've learned to do professionally is use progress reports as a bench barometer measuring, but it's not incorrect. It's just incomplete, and I hope that's making sense to you. So as we go on this idea of progress, what is progress to me? Um, when I think about progress, our performance is a prophecy of the way that we practice sometimes, right? Our performance can be a prophecy of the way that we practice. So what's going on now? There are other things again that's connected with that, but for most part, like when I play basketball, as an example, and I share this on other podcasts, is that when I played basketball, I had determined in my mind, I made a decision in my mind that no one was going to have a higher shooting percentage on the team than me. No one was going to have a higher percentage shot on the team more than me. So how did I achieve that? And eventually, at the end of the year, at the end of the season, we looked at the stats. I had the highest shot percentage and free throw percentage on the team. That wasn't a coincidence. It was intentional and it was on purpose. And one thing I remember doing was I would go to the local court, the playground, whatever you want to refer to it as. And I get there early before anyone else, and I would just shoot free throw after free throw after free throw. I would practice the 12-foot jump shot, the 10-foot jump shot, the 8-foot jump shot, and the layup. Because of my position, I was a power forward, and in some cases, you could slide me into that center position. And by the way, I played center. There was a time where I did play center. Now I'm 6'1". Today I'm 6'1". I weigh about 209 pounds, 208, somewhere in that neighborhood. But back when I played basketball, I was 6'1", and I weighed somewhere around 165, 170 pounds. So we're talking about 35 or so pounds lighter than I am today. But I was very tenacious as it relates to playing. And so you could slide me into that center position. But here's the point that I'm making: free throw after free throw after free throw. Get there early. Take shot after jump shot after jump shot after jump shot. Because I had a set a goal and I wanted to have some level of progress, right? Or forward movement. I wanted to make headway towards a certain destination and or a goal. And so this thought on progress, man, I'm telling you that proper, listen, check this out. Proper preparation for practice leads to productive performance. Proper preparation for practice leads to a productive performance. Now, I'm talking in this content about sports, but it's the same way in life. Proper preparation for the practice leads to productive or great performance. Any area, you can use that thought in any area of our lives. You can use it in any area of our lives. You can use it in your personal life. Now, how would I, in the personal life, let me just use me, and let me use my relationship. My wife and I, if you've been seeing some of the posts, some of the things that I've shared, my wife and I, we've been married for 33 and a half years. Matter of fact, we've been together for 35 and a half years, and we're going to celebrate 34 years of marriage in September. And oh, there were some tough times and challenges. Now that's another conversation. I'll wait till I'll have her on every once in a while. My wife joins me on the podcast. I'll have her on. We'll talk about some of the tough times, some of the challenging times, right? But for now, I want you to understand the person asking the question. Okay, so you say proper preparation for practice leads to productive performance. How do I use that for my personal relationship? Listen, understand this, that your relationship, and now I'm speaking specifically husband and wife. You take this and use it on whatever plane you want to use it for. I'm speaking now specifically husband and wife. How do I practice? How do I prepare? Right? How do I prepare for my practice with my bride, with my spouse, so that I can have productive performance? And I'm not talking about productive performance in the bedroom. That's another conversation. Maybe that's the Friday night podcast. But understand this, man, that, look at the relationship that you have. What value do you place on that relationship? What value do you place on that individual? And what information are you getting? Are you reading books on how to have a successful relationship? Are you watching videos? Are you tuned into podcasts that talks about? Here's some podcasts that you can consider. Dr. R.A. and Victory Vernon. You can watch their podcast. You can look at Pastor Jimmy Evans as an example. He's a has does a podcast, has a YouTube channel devoted specifically to relationships, right? So, I mean, the resources are out there, but what kind of resources are you looking for? Are you pursuing so that you can have the relationship that you want to have, right? So in my relationship with my wife, like for example, we had a conversation a long time ago about intimacy, because there is a difference. I can say this, I believe, on this podcast. There is a difference between intimacy and sex. There is a difference, friend. Oh yeah, there's a difference between, see, intimacy and sex don't necessarily, they're not necessarily the same thing. Now, intimacy leads to sex. Intimacy is involved in sex. Now, some people say, I'm making love. What do you mean you're making love? No, bro, you're having sex, right? I hope I can say this. And if not, just go ahead and censor it out. Go and flip to another channel. It's okay. I'm good with that. I'm confident. I'm securing that. But so I had to read information. This is the point that I'm saying. Like when we had the conversation about intimacy, her and I came together, had a conversation about intimacy, what it looked like. See, listen, men, understand this, that you are a microwave and your wife is a crock pot. Men are microwaves. Now, this is a general, broad statement. I know someone's going to hear this. A man's going to hear this and may feel a certain way. And a woman's going to hear this. She may feel a certain way. And listen, just a conversation, right? So men are microwaves. Men are crock pot. Men are like microwaves. You want that crock pot. You put the meat in. You put the potatoes in. You put the carrots in. You put the gravy in, and you let that thing stew, simmer all day, right? And so one of the things as it relates to intimacy, I know I'm going to get some comments on that. I already know. I already know that there's going to be some comments on that, but that's okay. I'm comfortable with that. And I'm checking now just in case. I don't see anything so far. Right? But here's the point I'm making. Um, when I talk about proper preparation for your practice, having the proper preparation for practice leads to productive performance. It's getting the information. That's really what I'm telling you. get the information on how to have, we read a book by Dr. Gray, Men Are From Venus, Women Are From Mars. We looked at information on 5 love languages. What are my love languages? What are her love language? And we had a conversation about it. One time I got my wife a hat, scarf, and glove. It was really nice too. I got her a hat, scarf, and glove combo set for Christmas. And I felt really good about it. Went out, shopped around, spent an hour or two finding, looking for a perfect gift. Found a really nice, invested some money in it, gave it to her. She unwrapped it. She said, "Oh, this is nice." It wasn't the response I was expecting. So we had a conversation about that. She said, "This is nice, but you know what I really like? Here are the type of gifts. Ding, 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 brother." She was telling me what she wanted. Here are the type of gifts that, right. And so I understood that one of her quality times is one of her love languages is quality time. I know it. Sometimes I come in from work because I'm up early. I get up early. I have my workout. I do different things, and then I go to work. Right. And so when I get in from work, I oftentimes energy level isn't as high as it needs to be. My conversation level isn't as high because I talk all day. But she said, "Hey, hon, let's go for a walk." Now my wife goes for a brisk walk, and they're like 2 miles minimum. But that's her time. She loves going for a walk, so I go for a walk because love language quality time. So what's the point of all of this is investing in your relationship, getting the information. What does he or she like, and communicate and get that information, because progress is development. Progress is having headway. It's advancement. Now, again, I'm talking about, is looking at performance. When I say performance or game time, I'm talking about business, right? But it happens in life. Game time is with your children. What type of parent are you? Do you listen to what your son or daughter is really saying? And I don't mean if they're 2 years old, 3 years old, or 30 years old. Are you listening? See, friend, understand that meanings aren't in words, they're in people. So people can say one thing and mean something else. Understand these. I'm just hitting you with some tips, man, because this is about having progress, right? This is about having small movement, which is better than having no movements at all. Small movements is better than having no movements at all. When I say that practice is a prophecy, what is prophecy? It's a prediction, right? Prophecy is a prediction of something to come. Prophecy is a prediction of something to come. That's what it is, friend. It's a prediction of something to come. So listen, show me your habits and I can predict your future. When the alarm goes off in the morning, do you hit the snooze multiple times before getting up? Listen, man, listen. Can we just be honest and stop lying to ourselves? If you don't want to get up at 5:30 in the morning, stop setting the alarm clock to go off at 5:30 if you really want to get up at 5:45. Do you realize subconsciously we are training ourselves to delay our actions? Subconsciously, you and we are training ourselves to delay actions. When the alarm clock goes off at 5:30 and we hit the snooze multiple times and we get up at 5:45. Now, people won't look at it this way, but we are breaking internal promises to ourselves when we do that. We are breaking internal promises to ourselves when we do that. Now, I don't know of anyone who is intentional about breaking promises. It's just, listen, they get up in the morning and they say, "I am going to break promises to as many people as possible, including myself today." Listen, I'm coming out the gates firing, both barrels loaded, because I'm telling you, I am committed to the idea. I'm committed to the idea. And I shared a video where I forgot his name for a minute. Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders, where Deion Sanders was talking about practice, right? because it's important practice. Now, just because you and I begin, we start the journey of practicing. Maybe the results might not necessarily be there, but let me tell you something, friend. Don't stop practicing. As a matter of fact, let's check out this. Let's check out this motivational excerpt from when Deion Sanders. If you don't know who Deion Sanders is, he's referred to as Showtime. He was a defensive back or safety. I'm not sure for the Dallas Cowboys. He now is a college coach, but he's talking about practice. Let's check it out.
My top plays happened in Fort Myers, Florida, when none of you knew anything about me. My top plays happened when it was no camera there. See, those are the plays you just caught on camera. Those weren't my top plays because I practiced like I played, so when I played, it would be practice. Yeah, you were supposed to clap right there because that was straight.
Amen to that. Yeah. Come on, get up to practice, please.
So there's somebody out there right now, the light ain't on you, but keep making plays. Nobody's talking about you, but keep making plays.
That's right.
I know your sales numbers aren't where your friend is, but keep making plays. I know nobody's talking about you, and you're not on the leaderboard right now, but baby, keep making plays.
Keep making plays. Keep making plays. You're not on a sales board yet like your friend is, but he said keep making plays. Powerful. Think about this. Deion Sanders said that his best plays were at practice because he practiced the way he played and he played the way that he practiced. He didn't make a distinction. So are you going all out at your practice? What is practice? Practice, friend, it is to perform an activity. Practice to perform an activity or exercise a skill repeatedly or regularly in order to improve or maintain one's proficiency. Practice to perform an activity or exercise repeatedly. To perform an activity or exercise repeatedly. Why don't people practice at the level of their desire? People desire to have a level of performance. They desire to be at the top. They want to have a better relationship, a better marriage, be a better husband, a better father, better wife, better mother, better employee, etc. Right? What separates the desire and the intensity for the practice as it relates to the vision and goal or aspiration for the performance? And one of the things that I found and discovered that it is an issue about vision, not having the right vision. Understand this: when you have the right vision in place, when you see your success, you got to be your success. You got to see your success before you be your success. You got to see your success before you be your success. You have to play it out, live it out on the canvas of your imagination. But one of the things that separates the intensity about practice as it relates to the performance is that there isn't a vision. The individuals don't have a vision. What's the vision for your wife? What's the vision for your husband? What's the vision for your marriage, your relationship? What vision do you have for your children? What vision do you have as an employee? What vision do you have for your business? Do everyone in your organization understand your vision? Now, I'm not talking about telling them what to do. I'm talking about, do they understand your vision? I'm not talking about what you want and how to go about it, but why do you want it? Why in the heck are you doing what you're doing? See, vision wakes you up with purpose. Vision provides direction. Vision creates ownership. Vision keeps you focused. Vision answers my why. And visions will create both a how and a what. Vision will create a how and a what. Vision, friend. So people that aren't intense about practice is because some cases, this is just my experience, is that the vision isn't in place. What is your vision? What do you want? Why do you want it? How do you plan to get about it? There's two things that happen as a result of vision. Number one, you can expect relief and support. The second thing is you should expect some resistance. You can expect some relief and support. And the second thing is you need to expect that there's going to be some resistance. See, people like to be comfortable. 90% of the people, 90% of the population want to live in what I refer to as the comfort zone. Inside the comfort zone, there's intimidation. Inside the comfort zone is fear. Inside the comfort zone is hesitation. Inside the comfort zone is feelings of abandonment. Inside the comfort zone is feelings of embarrassment. Understand this, friend. Embarrassment is a choice. Outside of the comfort zone, where real life happens, when you get outside of the comfortable zone. So, in other words, what I'm suggesting to you is that you have to be uncomfortable with the idea. You have to be comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable. 85 or 90% of all successful people found their success. They found their vision. They found their mission. They found their purpose. They found their calls for action out of an unpleasant and an uncomfortable situation. Dr. Martin Luther King, we would have never heard or known about Dr. Martin Luther King if Dr. Martin Luther King wasn't looking at the injustice that was done to the African American community. When he saw the injustice, he said, someone needs to do something. And he said, I have a dream. If it wasn't for the uncomfortable, the unpleasant treatment of African Americans, right, in the black community back in the 50s and the 60s, etc., we would have never known who Dr. Martin Luther King is. If it wasn't for the oppression of Muhammad Gandhi, right, of his people and his mission of peace and love, we wouldn't have never known Mother Teresa if it wasn't for unpleasant and injustices that she witnessed and saw and experienced the movement. 85 to 90% of all successful people, 85 to 90% of all substantive changes will come from an unpleasant or uncomfortable situation. Frank, let me tell you something about me. Years ago, my wife and I experienced some financial hardship. I'll never forget my son, who's 31 now. At the time, he was like 3 years old. So I'm talking about 27, 28 years ago in our marriage. We were so strapped financially that the only thing that we could basically afford for lunch and dinner was flavored oatmeal and or tuna noodle casserole, because you can buy tuna fish in a can. They call it chicken of the sea, right? It was inexpensive to buy tuna in a can, to go to Giants and buy a big bag, no brand of noodles, boiled the noodles, make it however my wife made the tuna. I don't know how she did it. One day at dinner time, we were having flavored oatmeal, and my son looks at me and he says, "Dad," and listen, the little dude was like, he was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years old. He looked at me. He said, "Dad, I hate oatmeal." Oh, as a father, that was devastating. Here I am, a grown man, struggling to take care of my family, struggling to love my wife correctly, struggling to be a good employee. I wasn't making good money. I wasn't good with finances at the time. And my son said to me, "Dad, I hate oatmeal." That was impacting to me, Fred. I don't know if you can hear the emotion. I still feel a certain way right now when I look back on that event. That was an unpleasant and uncomfortable situation for me. But it was during that time that I decided that I am going to never allow circumstances to predict and to determine my financial increase. I remember another impacting situation in my life when I was working in a manufacturing environment. I was on a 4-year apprenticeship program 8,000 hours to become a certified numerical control operator, a CNC machinist. I was taking algebra. I took classes on trigonometry. I took beginners, intermediate, and advanced blueprint reading. I'm taking these classes. I had Department of Defense clearance and Department of Energy clearance because 90% of the work that we were working on were nuclear um, attack summer parts for nuclear attack submarines and Navy ships. So it was classified information, right? And I remember my boss pulling me into the office for an evaluation. I thought during that evaluation he was going to tell me the best thing since sliced bread. He said, Rich, you seem to be the most incompetent person I ever met. I was devastated, friend. Devastated. I'm in my early 20s. I never really experienced that. I went home, man, and I sat on the basement steps in my home. And I literally cried for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. I've never had the experience where I cried so much my tear ducts literally ran dry. How does that happen? You ever had that cry in your whole body? Your whole body just. I'm a grown doggone man at the time, right? At least in my mind, I'm telling myself, and but here I am, devastated. And so when that job ended because of defensive contract was cut and they laid off a number of people, I went back. I decided I'm going back to school to get a degree in business administration. And when I went back, my first day back in school, I walk up to the chalkboard, and on the chalkboard, I write these words: information makes the difference between success and failure. I said, never again would anyone say that Rich was incompetent in his performance, incompetent on his job. And if I don't know something, it's not that I'm ignorant, I just don't know. I don't have the right information. But that impacted my life. To today, I'm confident that no matter where I'm go, I will never allow money to control and dictate my decisions, and I will always be on top. I will always rise to the top. And my confidence, folks, understand this. Let me make it perfectly clear that my confidence isn't in Richard Williams. For me, my confidence is in my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It is my faith in God that sustains me in no matter what arena in life I enter into. It is my confidence in God and his word that makes the difference. I read a scripture in 1 John 5:14-15. Man, I'm just really loaded coming out the gate strong. 1 John chapter 5, verse 14 and 15 said, this is the confidence that we have in him, not in Rich, in God, in my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Glory to God. This is the confidence that we have in him, that if we ask anything according to where he hears us, and the Bible goes on to say that we have the petitions, the things that we desire. This is the confidence. 1 John 5:14. 1 John 5:14. 1 John 5:14. This is the confidence that we have in him. So my confidence isn't predicated upon my degrees. My confidence isn't predicated upon what I know. My confidence isn't predicated by my boss or someone patting me on my back. My confidence is not predicated by my children saying, you're a good father. My confidence is solely in and on God and his word. But you know, when you have vision, you can expect relief or support, and you can expect there's going to be some resistance to the vision that you have. Understand this, friend, that your vision isn't for everybody. Not everyone's going to come behind you and line up and follow you. Good God, understand that, friend. Understand that. But if I want progress in life, if I want performance at game time in life, then there's a proper preparation for practice that's going to lead to me having productive or high performance. Man, listen, I don't know about you, but I got myself fired up. I hope, friend, that you find value in this conversation. I'm your friend. I'm your boy, Rich Wall Street Williams, on the Motivate podcast show. Man, remember, we always say less, but we definitely believe for more. I'll see you. Let's get it.